our video on dividing polynomials, our second video in the Algebra 2 course. So dividing polynomials is just like long division. So let's just give it a shot here. Let's say if I had x plus 3, and I want to divide the whole thing by, let's say, 2x cubed plus x squared minus 11x plus 12. Here's a question. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the first term in the divisor. Remember, this is the divisor and this is the dividend. So the first term is x. And we have the first term in the dividend is 2x cubed. So what can we use to get 2x cubed if we already have x? X times what is 2x cubed? Well, it's 2x squared, right? So let's erase this top part here, because we already know what we're doing today. Right? And so we know that if I put 2x squared up here, 2x squared, fix that x, 2x squared times x will give us 2x cubed. See how we did that? And 2x squared times 3 will give us 6x squared. Right? So I'll put 6x squared there. And then we subtract, just like division. Remember, so we have this in parentheses here, and we just subtract. So let me give you, since we ran out of room, let me redo this. And so, all right, so let's bring this down here. It's easier to see. So again, we're using the first term in the divisor, x, and we have the first term in the dividend, 2x cubed. And I need to know what number times x will give me 2x cubed, and we say 2x squared. And I'm bringing it right up there. Now, the reason I'm bringing it there and not there is because we're going to use these two terms. So then we distribute 2x squared, just like division. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed, like we did before. And 2x squared times 3 gives us 6x squared. Right? So this is the first part that we're going to subtract. Now these will cancel out. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed cancels out. And x squared plus 6x squared, but remember it's a minus, so x squared minus 6x squared is going to give us a negative 5x squared. So you're doing, just think of 1 minus 6. Now the reason why the plus is here because it's a positive number, 1 minus 6. And again, if you see 1 minus 6 is actually 1 plus negative 6, right? So we have negative 5x squared. And just like division, we're going to bring the next term down. So now we have our next term. Now I'm going to say what? Again, we're using this x. I'm trying to get negative 5x squared. What do I need to have to get negative 5x squared? Well, I need negative 5x. Because negative 5x times x is negative 5x squared. Don't forget that we have to also distribute into 3. So negative 5x times 3 is negative 15x. And remember, now we have this, and we have to subtract. We always subtract. So you know what subtraction is: keep, change, change. We're keeping, we change, we change, we change, right? So this will change, this will change, and that cancels out. This will change, and then you'll have what? You could have a 4x. And what do? Bring the next thing down. Plus 12. Okay? So now, again with this divisor, x times what gives us 4x? Just 4, right? We just have our 4. So it's just 4, and we're going to get 4x, and then we'll get plus 12. And man, we're minusing this time, so they both cancel out. We have our 0. And we're done. That's the answer. All right, so let's do a few more. So what if we had something like this? So, again, this is the divisor, right? First term, the first is always the dividend. So we'll just rearrange this. We'll put x plus 4 here. And we'll make our box, and we'll put in the rest. 3x cubed plus 8x squared minus 14x plus 13. So what do you think the first step is? Here's the first term, the x. We're trying to get 3x cubed. So we need 3x squared. So we'll put it right there, 3x squared. So 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. And 3x squared times 4 is 12x squared. All right, so we want to minus this out. And what do we get? So this will be a plus minus, right? So again, this will be a plus minus, and then that will be turned into a minus also, right? That cancels, and this will be a negative 4x squared. And then bring down the negative 14x. All right, so how can I get negative 4x squared if I just have an x already? I need a negative 4x, so I'll put negative 4x. So negative 4x times x is negative 4x squared. And negative 4x times 4 is going to give us a negative 16x. So again, you know you're subtracting. You'll get used to that. So it's keep, change, change everything. That will cancel out. And you'll have 2x. And then bring down your 13. Well, I need to get 2x, and I already have an x, so we need a plus 2. So that will give us our 2x, and this will give us our 8. We'll bring this up so we see it. There we go. And again, this is subtraction, so we'll just keep, change, change everything. That will become negative also. And what are you left with? A 5, right? Now, wait a minute. We didn't get a 0. We have a remainder. And when you have a remainder in division, for example, let's say I gave you this problem. Let's say we had 7 into 20. Right? It's a simple division problem like that. Well, we know we're going to have if we didn't do the decimals, we'll have a remainder, right? We'll have a remainder of 6. So the answer is 2 remainder 6 if we didn't use decimals, or the answer is 2 and 6/7. 2 and 6/7. So we took the remainder and put it as the numerator. So we can use the same thing here. Same thing here. So this will be, the answer will be this, and then it'll be 5 over x plus 4. Right, and by the way, since the 5 over here is positive, we're going to just make it plus, right there. That's the remainder. Let's do another one so you get used to it. Here we go. What will we do here? All right, so again, this is the divisor. So we'll put that first. X plus 2. Make our division symbol. Put everything in. All right. So again, we want, here's the first term x, and we want to get x cubed, so we'll use x squared. Right? And x squared times x is x cubed. Just like division. And x squared times 2 is 2x squared. So we have our subtraction. And remember, we turn into addition and subtract and change all the signs, right? So this will cancel out. So now we have a 4x squared, and we have a minus 2x squared, so this will be negative 6x squared. Remember your rules with negatives. And then we bring down the next term, plus 2x. So what's the next step? Well, right now we need to get negative 6x squared, but we have an x. So we need a negative what? Negative 6x, right? Because negative 6x times x is negative 6x squared. And negative 6x times 2 is negative 12x. Okay, there's our second step that we did. And again, we're minusing, so what happens with subtraction? Keep, change, change, right? So this will change, 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 change. That will cancel each other, right? And now we're left with 14x minus 3. bring down the 3. And what's the next step? Well, we need to get 14x, so we need a plus 14. Now we stop. We ran out of room, right? We ran out of what we're trying to divide. So let's put this back in. That'll be 14x. And this will be plus 28. 14 times 2 is 28. And of course we're subtracting. We use a different color here, so show you. So again, we're going to change that to addition, change that to subtraction, and we'll change that to subtraction. Get rid of the plus. So this cancels out, and we're left with negative 31. Negative 31. That's our remainder, negative 31. So our final answer up here, we'll just write it over here. We'll say x squared minus 6x plus 14 minus 31 over x plus 2. Minus, okay, because that's our remainder. Something like this. What if we had, and we use a different color right now, we'll use 2x cubed plus 5x minus 4. And what if I put all that, we don't need those parentheses, over x squared minus x plus 1. So when you see something like this, and let's get rid of these parentheses here for a minute. Actually, we don't need them. The top number, the numerator, is the one that's inside the division. This is the divisor. This is the dividend. So we can rearrange this, right? Let's rearrange it now. So I'll put it over here. We'll say the divisor is going to be x squared minus x minus 1, all over 2x cubed. Now, let's watch this now. We got to be very careful. There's no x squared. There's no x squared, so we have to leave space for it. Remember, we should put them in descending order, the polynomials. Since there is no 2x squared, we'll just leave it blank. Now, some people put a 0x, whatever's comfortable for you. So let's leave it blank for now. And then we'll put in the rest. We're saying 5x minus 4. So, and we have 3 terms, so we know we should start here. Remember, when we had 2 terms, we started on the second term when we divide. Now we have 3 terms, even though one's missing. So again, you can leave it blank, or you can put, most people do, they put a 0x. Put an ox up there, right? Whatever you're comfortable with. So now let's do this. We have an x squared. We're looking at the first term, and we need to get 2x cubed. So all we need is what? We need 2x. But we're not putting it here or there. We're putting it here. There's where we're putting the 2x. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times negative x is negative 2x. Let's bring our line over. And 2x times negative 1 is, that's squared, by the way. And 2x times negative 1 is negative 2x. So this is where we started. Take a look what we did. Again, very important that they're going in descending order and we're missing a squared. That's why we left it blank or put a 0 there. Okay, so then again, remember, use a different color again, the C. Use black again. This changes. Change, 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 change. Remember? Right, so this cancels out. Right, so this was, now so this would just be 2x squared, because 0 plus 2x squared is 2x squared, and make these pluses now, right, because they were negative. Now we're going to have plus 7x and bring down the negative 4. So now, I have 2x squared, but I already have x squared, so all I need is a 2. This will be 2x squared. Bring the line down like this. 2 times negative x is negative 2x, and 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Right? What do we do now? Keep change, remember? So that changes to addition, that changes, that changes, that changes. That cancels out. Here you have a 9x minus 2. Alright, so we had a minus 2, so again we're making that as, it's going to be 2x plus 2 plus 9x minus 2 over x squared minus x minus 1. Okay, let's look at another one. Okay, let's look at something more challenging. Let's say we had, like a fraction, we had 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5. There's the numerator. Bring that up. And that's also the dividend. That's the dividend. The numerator is the dividend. And then we had our denominator of x squared minus 1. That's the divisor. So let's make this. Here we go. We can make this like this. This is what it would look like. But we have a problem here. Remember, it should be in descending order. We have a 3, a 2, but we don't have an x to the first power. So we just have to leave it blank. And remember, before we just put a 0. Just put a 0x if you want. Or leave it blank. But we have another problem. Look in the divisor. We're missing an x in the divisor. We have to leave that blank. So we're going to have x squared minus 0x again, minus 1. And we'll make this whole thing again. 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus a 0x plus 5. Now we have 3 terms. So that's where we'll start. We'll put our answer on the top of the third term. Last time we had 2 terms. And we put it in the second term. So again, we have x squared, and we have 3x cubed in the dividend. So how am I going to get a 3x cubed if I have an x squared? Well, I need a 3x. And again, it's going to go here. 3x is going to go there. Because we have 3 terms we have to deal with. So 3x times 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. There's that. 3x times 0x, what's this? 0x squared, right? Bring that line down. And 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. Okay, looks kind of weird, right? Remember, we are subtracting. So we have keep, change. This will change, this becomes a negative, and everything else will become positive. So this cancels out. So let's look at it for a minute. Negative 2x squared plus 0x squared is going to give us negative 2x squared. And a 0 plus a 3 just gives us a 3x. And then we'll bring down the 5. Okay, now we have x squared, but we're trying to get negative 2x squared, so we need a negative 2. And then we'll just distribute everything out. So that'll give us negative 2x squared. This will give us a negative 0x. And this will give us plus 2. So, again, we're subtracting. So this becomes plus, and this becomes negative. Be careful with that one. So again, this cancels out. This will be 3x. And this will be plus 3. There's our remainder. So our answer is 3x minus 2 plus 3x plus 3 over, and you can just say x squared minus 1. There we go. So be careful when you're missing terms that are not, they're descending. If you have a 3, you have a 2, you don't have a 1, so you put 1 in. You left it blank or you put a 0. Be careful with that. Just to go over that last answer, we had 3x minus 2 plus, we had 3x plus 3 over x squared minus 1. This can be factored, and we'll do that later in later videos, but this can be factored. So this will keep 3x minus 2, but the 3x plus 3 x squared minus 1, well, we can factor out a 3 and we'll get an x plus 1, right? And we know x squared minus 1 is the difference between 2 squares, so we have an x minus 1 and we have an x plus 1, which we can get rid of. So we'll just be left with 3x minus 1. bring that down so you see it, right? So the whole answer could have been factored. I'll erase this here. Could have just had 3x plus 3 plus 3 over x minus 1. There we go. All right, in our next video, in our lesson 3, video 3, we'll talk about synthetic division, another type of dividing polynomials. Okay, great job.